Hello, and welcome to Tech Grind. I am your host, Eric Chinicki. Today, my colleagues Michael Graydon and Pooja Patel will be discussing the social implications of virtual reality technologies like the Oculus Rift. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Pooja Patel.
And I'm Michael Graydon, and we'll be talking about VR technologies such as the Oculus Rift and other devices.
So ICTs often lead to multiple and paradoxical effects. How do you think this could affect virtual reality and Oculus?
Well, the Oculus and other VR technologies can make many changes to a lot of fields, such as gaming, for example, and also if Facebook and Sony's intentions pan out, social interaction. For example, Facebook's hoping that one day you'll be able to basically log in and visit your friends online in their virtual area, perhaps their homes, some sort of common ground between different systems.
So how do you think VR technology shape thought and action and that benefits some groups more than others?
Well, as with most new technology, those that have the most wealth and the most time to use that wealth will probably be the most affected. They'll be able to play with the new toys because unfortunately at first that's what they'll be. Or they'll be used in, for example, there's a Stanford VR laboratory that does a lot of experiments with VR. Things like that can get a lot of benefit out of it. Other groups may eventually get benefit, but I think at first it's going to be mostly those who have the time and the money to play with it.
And so how do you think this will increase the digital divide or decrease it with respect to how expensive it is and how it can be used?
Well, the original Oculus came out at $300. The next version of the Oculus, I believe, is at $350. I don't remember if that's actually been officially announced, but I think that's the right thing out.
Okay.
And of course, if you're from an underprivileged group, you're not going to be able to afford buying these to let people play with them easily in your homes, especially if there's games that use 3 and 4 people at a time. Then you have to buy 3 or 4 of these devices at once to be in the same game area. So yes, I think this will unfortunately contribute to the digital divide and actually make it a little bit worse, especially if some of the hopes of it do pan out. If there really is truly good educational material that's available, it's only going to be available to those who have the most money, not necessarily to the people who need it the most.
So what do you think the moral and ethical consequences are related to the virtual realities?
There are a lot of possible problems that may happen with this new technologies. For example, while there's some benefits, for example, animal rights activists could create material so that you could actually experience what it's like to be an animal. Again, the VR lab that I talked about earlier, they actually already have one where you basically experience the process of being a cow and being led to a slaughterhouse. So the idea behind that is that they'll be able to show you, oh, look, this is what the poor cows have to go through, and maybe you won't want to eat meat as much, and you'll eat a little more what they consider ethically. However, the flip side of that, of course, is that some people will consider that propaganda, even possibly brainwashing.
How do you think the uses, design, and implementation of virtual realities have reciprocal relationships with larger social contexts?
I think it's very possible that VR, if it's as easy as it seems to be and as cheap as it seems to be, could become the next disruptive technology. Much in the way the internet just destroyed some industries, I think the VR world could do that as well. Will you still want to go drive through traffic and go to a movie theater and pay $15 to $20 to go see a movie for 2 hours, when instead, and that, of course that movie is going to be 2D and perhaps 3D, when instead you could stay home in the comfort of your living room and watch a truly immersive 3D experience all around you. You're still going to want to go to the theater. You're going to want to go to those kind of events. The same thing might be true for live events such as football games or concerts. I don't think those will ever go away. I don't think they're in danger of that, but I think less and less people will go to them because there'll be so much more of a rich experience from your living room.
So how do you think the interests will vary between different groups and how they use Oculus Rift and other virtual reality technologies?
Okay, I think the first people who are going to grab the Oculus Rift and other technologies like it will be the young and affluent, those who have the money and time to play with these things. It'll be mostly used for games, but I think it will slowly expand over time. Parents will, of course, worry that the kids play too much time in it, they're not spending enough time in the real world, in the sun, etc., much in the same way they do now with video games in the living room.
So my final question for you tonight is, do you think virtual reality will become something that's normal?
I think it's going to become a norm in the same sense that playing games on your Sony PlayStation or your Xbox or whatever the other systems are. Probably a small segment of the population will be using these on a regular basis to participate in things. Imagine the online MMOs where you're actually in the game playing as your character instead of just sitting in front of a keyboard. All those sort of things, as the technology gets better, as the technology becomes more mature, And as they add devices that let you control what's actually happening around you, I think it'll absorb people, and I think we'll be amazed by what happens in less than 10 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in to Tech Grind. My name is Eric Chernicki. We'll see you all next week.